Hey everyone, welcome to Pass or Play. So today we have John Wick Chapter 4, and we open with John Wick, played by Keanu Reeves, wanting to be free of the high table and basically being told, you'll only be free in death. That's the only way you're going to be free of this. There's no other way for this to end but your death. And he ends up going after one of the elders or quote unquote high executives of the high table. And at one point, John is told, you can't kill everyone. That's part of the table. And John is like, if I'm going down, I'm not going down without a fight. And that's basically, in a nutshell, the overall summary of this film in one way or the other. And just kind of how he gets there, if he gets there at all, really, in the end. And no matter how many of the heads of the table John kills, the table will just replace them with someone else. There's always going to be somebody to basically replace somebody else. And then this begs the question of how many seats are seating at the damn table, because John has already killed a lot of people, and they have videos about how many kills each incarnation of the John Wick franchise has had. And in each film from the first one, the kills have increased over each film. So I'm assuming that most likely, once somebody adds it up, this film probably would have the most kills over the last three previous John Wick films. And he kills a lot of people here. So he kills a lot of people. And the Marquis de Gramont, who's been given the full use and resources of the table as long as he can deliver on the death of John Wick, but overall is a very shallow and cowardly villain. I did not care very much for the character. And he is played by Bill Skarsgard. But overall, I don't know. It could be the writing. It also could be the way that it could maybe be a little bit of how Bill Skarsgård plays the character, but that to me also falls a little bit on just the writing too, which we'll get to that later. But either way, the Marquis de Gramont, they end up bringing on Kane, played by Donnie Yen, who's excellent here. He steals just about every scene that he's in for the most part. He is blind, but it doesn't really mean anything. There's literally a part in the film where people are fighting. He's kind of off to the side, eating like a bowl of soup or whatever. And just kind of, I guess, like, making sure that he's not hungry before he gets to, the fighting. I just thought that was really funny. And there are some funny, there's also some comedy in here in different ways, whether it's like by the visceralness of the violence and how certain things kind of take place. And then there's also some funny things that people say as well. But sometimes a lot of it's kind of funny just by what you're seeing. But as we move on, you also have, I was going to say, the Kane character is put in a no-win situation, really, with the high table, and the dilemma with his character just overall sucks. I don't want to like give too much away, but it just overall sucks. And then you also have Scott Adkins as Killa, the head of the German table. He's also great in his fight sequences with John Wick at this nightclub where the people keep dancing with all this fighting and killing going on, like it's just a normal night there, I guess. By the time they kind of do react, so much stuff had gone on before. I was just like, okay, now people want to run out and start, oh my God, I fear for my life. I'm like, you didn't fear for your life for like 10 minutes of that whole scenario. And maybe they were on drugs or something, because some people were just like doing all of this kind of like whatever was going on. So I don't know, but and Scott Adkins does have like on this kind of fat suit where if you I mean, his face still basically looks the same. I don't know if they really did that many prosthetics on his face, but I mean, it looks like him. But if you don't know specifically, you might even not even recognize that it is him. And in this film, and even in previous films, anyone who is an ally or helps John in any way is automatically signing up for a death warrant on their head. And I will say that I really liked the tracker slash Mr. Nobody, played by Shamir Anderson, and his dog too. He doesn't have the Kevlar bulletproof suit of Wick, but instead this multi-purpose use backpack, and he kicks butt along with his dog as well. There is one character who dies, but actually doesn't have to. They are shown mercy, but they don't take it. And though they feel that what they're doing is right, it's still a painful death to me because they are leaving people behind who, who would benefit from them still being alive, basically. And I will say that the script overall is lacking dialogue. You know what John Wick's motivation is at this point. You know what drives him. And at this point, he just wants to be free of the high table. But narratively, I feel with this film, it loses some of its way for style and aesthetic of the John Wick world, and nothing new is added to the story. Yeah, I mean that's kind of really the best way to say it. I think that the film overall, as far as the action and all that, is really great, but the script, some of the story, some of the dialogue is a little bit off this fourth time around. But this is like overall the best film as far as the action sequences and things like that. You're not gonna miss out here. The focus is very much on the fight and action sequences, and all of the Paris fights are the best in this film. And there's even one that plays where the camera kind of goes over the fight as it's kind of moving from room to room, and it plays very much like a video game. You do have some of the OG characters back as well. Laurence Fishburne as the Bowery King, Lance Reddick as Sharon, may he rest in peace. Ian Mcshane as Winston Scott. So they're all great in their respective roles. They kind of bring that groundedness to the overall film because they've been in since the beginning, just like John Wick. Um, I also did like the addition of Rina Sawayama as a Kira, for the Osaka sequence and fight scenes. I thought her character was really good here. She's really like the only like female lead or co-lead, or not the, like necessarily the main cast. Well, I mean, she's part of like, she's considered part of like the main cast for this genre. Like, she's like the only woman really that's like being shown in this film. It's all everybody else is just all men. But I liked her addition in this film as well because she's also the only woman that's kind of being shown doing some fight sequences. They do have like other characters and the different organizations and the different groups, but she's given some screen time a little bit. So it's cool to see her character. I did like her character. And two, I want to start off by saying Keanu Reeves he's 58 now. I think they shot this a little bit of 2021, so he was 56, and he has been doing most of his own stunts for the John Wick films. But after watching this, my back is hurting after all these fight sequences and the falls that John Wick has. I don't even know how he's getting back up. And at some point, too, between him and even Donnie Yen's character, Kane, they're fighting, and at some point they're just like, they look tired. They look tired, like, I'm too old for this. And their body is just kind of, they're like limping and walking. And there's this cool sequence in Paris where they're like, Wick has to get up this, like, I think it's like 220 some stairs, and it's like he almost gets to the top, and then he kind of gets like knocked back down again. But that whole sequence is really cool too. But yeah, after watching that, I just really feel like after watching all of that, it's like, it just makes me want to, go to the chiropractor and then go and get a massage, because I'm just like, I don't even know how the human body can withstand that much, like, just physical, trauma. And he's falling from buildings and just hitting cars and concrete's getting hit by cars and stuff. Like, it's crazy. It's amazing he's able to walk at all. Even whether or not he survives, it's like you're going to have some bad back and hip and problems and everything. But either way, the film too asks the question, lastly, can John Wick have a happy ending? If he survives this, can he get remarried? Can he find another dog to love? Or has being thrown back into this lifestyle of violence, has being thrown back into this lifestyle of violence, is this kind of the end of John ever having a normal life again? Will he be able to kind of go back into like a civilian life after kind of leaving and then coming back and, being kind of thrust into it? Can he go back to just have a normal life without this kind of intensity level of just violence and fighting? Because at this point, he's like the best. John Wick is the best that there is. There's no one that's really comparable to him. He's like the top, the top notch head honcho kind of, skilled fighter, assassin, or whatever you want to call them. And can he just go back to being normal after all of this? I do think that the ending will leave some wanting more to kind of be desired. And there is an end credit scene at the very end of the film, at the end of the credits. So stay for that. Other than that, I can say, though, that this is not a perfect film. There was still way more that I liked versus the few problems that I have with the film overall. I would say play and go see this in theaters, especially in IMAX or Adobe Theater. Get the bang for your bucks. Please hit the like button if you like this review, subscribe, and help my channel grow. Check out some of my other videos. And for now, goodbye.